What's up, y'all? Good morning. It's Nano the Puerto Rican, still trying to make it. Booty butt naked and nobody could take it. I've been saying that for years, y'all. And today is February 7th, 2024, and the time is 12:13 p.m. It is afternoon. I say good morning all the time. I don't give a fuck if it's night. I say good morning, and I say Puerto Rican to everyone. I call everyone a Puerto Rican. And I did not get that from T.S. Madison. I've been saying Puerto Rican since 2003. You can ask anybody in the Cleveland area and in my family. I say it at rap battles. It's Puerto Rican been said for me. Sorry. Today I worked out. Of course, smoking my blunt, y'all. This is some good alien banana weed, honey. From Puff in Monroe, Michigan. Puff Dispensary. Go get it and see Madison. Madison. Yeah, she's nice. I go out there when I need to get some good selections. Today I said I was going to talk about how I came out the closet, honey. The closet. I don't know. It's a big part of life when you're gay. Especially raised how I was raised. Pentecostal Christian. Stomping. Sanctified. Men should not wear beards. Men should not have earrings. No necklaces. Men don't wear shorts. They don't take their shirt off in public. Don't go to the beach. You don't go to the movies. You don't dance. You don't smoke anything. You don't drink any alcoholic beverages. And you go to church 5 days a week. And you praise with other people, visit sick people. Women do not wear makeup. They do not cut their hair. They do not dye their hair. They have to wear sleeves past their elbows, past their knees. No jewelry, just their wedding ring and on a watch. You're allowed to wear a watch. No pants for women. Women have to wear a skirt all times. They are not to dance, go to the movies. They are not to wear shorts. Some old school people believe women are not supposed to be pastors. Not any positions of leadership. It wasn't that strict at my church, but all the other things, yes. It was very strict, and most people feel that they can't live to those expectations. Of course, no adultery, no sex before marriage, no smoking, no drinking. So, a lot of the pastors, and this is in a Puerto Rican type environment, the services are in Spanish 90% of the time. Now, probably not. I don't know. I haven't been to church since I was 17. I've been to my dad's church for funerals and things because it's a cheap place to have funerals and My grandma's funeral was there, my stepdad, a lot of people in our family. Celebrations are there, Sweet 16s, weddings. Because it's cheap. And sometimes they give us a deal because they know our family. My dad was a pastor. So, no longer a pastor. I always knew I wanted boys. I was scared to say my whole life. But my actions, you can tell I wanted boys. My father checked me on things early, about 11 years old. He saw my feminine side, and he taught me how to shake a man's hand and look into a man's eye and be strong. And don't wave my hand down. And he noticed I was gay. There was some other things, but probably too much to say right here. So, grew up, went to school. I didn't have any girlfriends till my senior year. Well, I had a girlfriend in 11th grade, but excuse me. I think she knew I was gay too. She was a very butch girl. Kind of weird. Kissing. I was still horny, but I knew I didn't want a girl. Walked her home, kissed her and things, but never did anything. 12th grade year, yeah, I had another girl. She was butch too. She's a lesbian now. And she's married to a woman. And she sent me a flower for Valentine's Day. I didn't know it was her. We dated. We kissed a couple times, but again, nothing. She could tell, I think. And she wanted girls. So, I wanted boys. Went to college. Fell in love with a girl. Never dated her. She was half Belizean, half Palestinian. Very pretty, but still her features are manly. Very strong jaw. In shape. Kind of nobody though. Then I got with another girl, black. We did a little something. And I think I was 19. No sex, she was a virgin. I was a virgin. No. I lost my virginity at 18 to a girl, but my dick would not stay hard. It would not work, y'all. I was 18, she was 23, so pretty. Stacked, body, ass, tits, flat stomach. Couldn't believe I pulled her. I did. But I couldn't do nothing with it. Because I wanted boys. 19, that pretty girl. I just ate her out. And then I got out with another girl. She was 18. I was 21, I believe. But by that point, I already had my first experience with a man. But it was just oral sex and mutual masturbation. So it was not sex all the way, would you say? It's touching, kissing. First time, 21. In the closet still. And then I got with one of my friends who ended up being my wife. And we were both 14 when we met. She was actually dating my cousin. 14. We would go to like the rec and swim and things. 14, growing up, you get to learn your body. I definitely wanted boys. And I still got with this girl. I was seeing that man like once a year till I turned 25. And he was the only person I saw once a year, about once or twice a year, to get rid of that hunger with the man. But I was still with Angie. I was still with my ex-wife. Rest in peace. I told her, but she didn't believe me at first. I was 21. Supposedly I got the 18-year-old girl pregnant. Let's call her Jay. Got her pregnant, supposedly. She was 4 months. I broke up with her, didn't know she was pregnant. And she got with one of my cousins. And now her kids are like 18 and 19 years old. This was back in like 99, 2000. It's gotta be. Should have been 98. Then around 2000, 2001, I was like 22 years old. I moved out and moved in with my ex-wife. And I was with her for 7 years, on and off. We were off when I was 25, and I discovered a line, the megaphone line, which is a line before Grindr and everything that you hooked up with boys, with men. And that's when I went full-fledged into having sex with men. I was usually the top. My first time with a man, I was the bottom. And he was an older man, about 60, maybe 50 something. He was a teacher. And he didn't believe that was my first time. He was not well endowed. He was a white man. And at that time, I was very struggling with my salvation and just going back and forth with being gay and not being gay. So I definitely did not stick it out with him. And went back with Angie. I was with her for like a year or two and met my first boyfriend on that line, the megaphone line I was telling you about. And I moved in with him. I was 27. He was like 40. He told me he was 35, but he was really 40. I found out so many lies from him. Anyway, and my ex-wife found out about it. So she would go over, she found out where we lived, and she went over there and said all types of things, supposedly. I've never seen her. This was what he said to me. That she passed by and said all kind of faggots and things like that. So I still was struggling though. I couldn't tell my parents. I was with a friend of mine. And that lasted 4 months. Me and my first boyfriend living together. And then I found out he was a liar. And we only had sex twice the whole time we were together. He didn't trust me. And then I got back with Angie and we got married. And I promised her to stop being in the street and with my dirt, which was selling weed mostly, but also selling coke, selling ecstasy, heroin, whatever came through here in Cleveland. Is like a, how you say, expressway 90, and you get people from everywhere traveling from New York to Chicago. So it was me working at restaurants and doing these rap battles. I would get rid of work. So after the first boyfriend, I got back with Angie and married her. And she promised to stay out the dirt too, but she did not. I started going to church, stopped smoking weed, stopped drinking, stopped listening to secular music, basically started living the way my father raised me and wanted me to be. But 5 months into the marriage, she had someone go through my laptop, and on there were porn with men, websites. So she found out I was gay that way. And she called me. I was in the club. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. Saturday, and she called. She told me to hurry up and get home, but she didn't tell me the reason. And I thought some drama popped off because she got robbed before in the game. And I go back to the house, and she won't talk. She was getting coked up. I started getting coked up with her. And we lay in the bed. I'm spooning her, and she asked me who was watching gay porn on your laptop. And I said, me. And she said, why? And I said, it turns me on. And she jumped out the bed, turned the light on. She had to be at work at 7 in the morning. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning at this time. And she couldn't believe it. But I had told her before, when I was with the first boyfriend, that I was gay. And she wouldn't believe me. She started crying. We were at a restaurant, Bahama Breeze. And the server asked her if she was okay, and she started crying. And I felt bad, so I told her I was kidding, and she just stopped crying. But I was not kidding. And I don't know why she would believe that I was kidding. She had told me that my cousin, rest in peace, told her that my grandmother said, rest in peace, that she knew I was gay my whole life. So it had been talked about amongst the family, I guess. was told by another cousin that was not true. But I don't know. She wasn't there. But she lived with my grandmother for most of her life. So I'm married to Angie. She finds all that out. It's 5 months. We've been together 7 years on and off. She finds all that out. She calls my whole family. Saturday, that morning, I leave. I move in with my dad, and then that Monday she calls her and her brother, get coked up and call my whole family, everybody in my roster, in my phone. She went through, called every single one, even the pastor that married us, and told them that I was bisexual. And most people didn't care. I didn't know she did that till later. And I just knew it was over. I was going to try to go back. I took on my shit, left everything there, and took on my laptop and my clothes and moved to Puerto Rico like 2 months later. And then I came back in June, and I didn't see her till that September when my cousin passed away, and she was at the funeral. I couldn't talk to her, and I was so hurt about my cousin. He was like a brother to us. He was the only child, so he basically kicked it with me and my brother all the time, and my other cousin. So, who was the only child, is the only child as well. So, during that time when I lived with my father, when I left her, I told my dad that I was gay. Because she called him, but she couldn't tell him either. She said we broke up because something on his end, but she wouldn't say what the thing was. So I told him what it was. And then she went to my laptop, and as she found all my gay porn, and I had to tell her I was gay, and I had been with men, many men. By then, that line, when I was 25, is basically like Grindr. You hook up and you don't see the person again. They're not interested in seeing nobody else. It's not a date type. So that's my coming out, really. And during the time when I was living with my first boyfriend, though, my mom asked me over the phone, "Do you guys sleep in the same bed?" You know how slick moms are, because she always knew how I feel. She wouldn't say that. She has said some things like, "I ain't raised no fags," and things like that, because they believe it's a sin, and they believe it's the devil and it's a spirit. That's what gay is. That's what they feel it is. My parents. So I've struggled after that and moved to Puerto Rico, cried in Puerto Rico, real deep cry about homosexuality, because I went to church with my aunt, and I guess still trying to pray the gay away, I say. And there was a preacher there, and he talked about homosexuality and its agenda, like all the books they're releasing in schools about being gay and things like that. I don't agree with that either. Like, just leave kids to decide when they get older, because I didn't, or decide as they learn themselves. I didn't say, but yeah, early on, I did see sex early on, 5 years old, through neighbors. There were older boys that lived next door who had books and pornos their parents owned like a rummage sale place, like a flea market type place, and they had lots of porns. And they would watch them. They would wake us up when we slept over there, and they introduced us to sex very young. When I say we, I said me and my brother, and he's right behind me. I'm 4. I was 5 and he was 4, or 6 and 7. He was, right behind me, whatever age that was. So that might have had an effect on my head, is what books say, and what some of these people say out here. But it doesn't explain my brother. He's very homophobic and against homosexuality. So, but to me, I don't know, it just came natural to like a boy. And I always fantasized about it, and I thought people couldn't see it. But then I realized in pictures and things, people really, they picked it up. Because you can't hide that stuff. You can't hide your feelings. You really can't. So I was 27 at that point, and still struggled. And I had another boyfriend after that, Troy, who basically, rest in peace, him too. I moved to Texas, and I had met Troy right before I went to Texas. And he was married, but he was on that line, and looked like he'd been playing with boys. Looked like his son knew about it, because he wasn't too bright, and his son was teaching him how to go through MySpace and look up my page and look up who I was, because you couldn't see pictures on that line on the phone. So we met, and we had sex a couple times, and I moved to Texas. And he tried to follow me down there, and I told him no, because he had 2 kids. He had a 16-year-old and like a 6 or 7-year-old at the time, and I told him no. And he was sad and depressed and came back up here. And I had a situation in Texas where I was supposed to move there with my sister, and my sister lost a custody battle, so she had to stay here in Ohio. So I didn't have a place to live, really. I was living with my cousin, and I didn't like the situation, so I left. Back to Ohio. And I didn't have my own apartment. I didn't want to live with my parents. So I moved in with Troy, who I didn't want to live with. He left his wife by this time. She blamed it on me, even though I was gone. Living in Texas for 4 months. Before I came back up here, he had left her when I was living in Texas. So, because she found out about his gayness and shit too. I was with Troy for 4 years, and I moved to Orlando because I didn't want to be with Troy no more. Just felt like we were not on the same page as far as life and the goals and the things I want to reach, the goals I wanted to reach. So I left him alone and I moved to Orlando. And I was lonely in Orlando, so I moved him down there and quickly learned he didn't want to be with me. He just wanted to be living a gay experience because he was married for 20 years and was not living a gay experience, so he wanted to be with other boys. So I kicked him out, moved him back over here in Ohio. Well, he left and came and did his thing. And I was in Orlando for a year and 4 months and came back up here. And I saw Troy for one day, a couple days. And then I didn't see him or hear from him for like a whole week. And I was wondering what was wrong with him. And come to find out, he got hit by a car and had 100% brain damage. We both worked for Olive Garden at the time. And he moved here with the company. He was on his break and crossing the street in Great Northern Ohio. And he got hit by a car. And he was 100% brain damage. And before he went to the coma, he told the people, yo, my ex-wife would take care of everything. And he went to a coma. So I was not allowed to go see him. I found out through his son what happened to him, somehow, some way. And I went to see him at ICU. Not supposed to. Was not, I don't know how, by the grace of God, I guess. Went and saw him. Nurse let me in. She said he's calm. His vitals went down because you're here. And I told him to go because he was 100% brain damage. But he hung on. And his ex-wife chose to keep him alive. Even though he was 100% brain damage, you would never, most people, it's a miracle, but most people, 99.9 do not come back from brain damage, not even 30% brain damage. To come back from 100% brain damage is impossible most of the time. And she chose to keep him alive. And he lived. And I was going to the hospital for 6 weeks, going to see him. And it was crushing me. I had to let him go though because I was in a situation to take care of him. He would have to be in the hospital for the rest of his life. So I didn't have the money or the place to take care of him. And even though I was not allowed to go see him, I would go see him. And his ex-wife caught me one day on the elevator. And she was so pissed and couldn't believe that I was going to go see him. We had words, I don't remember what they were, but I was too worried about him, too worried about her. So I just visited him, and then one day he was gone from the hospital. And the nurse told me she wasn't allowed to tell me where he went, but he went to the nursing home. He didn't die. And I went to nursing home to see him on his birthday, August 12, 2013. That's the last time I seen him. And he was off machines, he was breathing on his own. But his body was not functioning. I don't know if he could tell it was me to go see him. He was a total vegetable. And I felt terrible. Felt like it was my fault that he was like that. Um, yeah. So that's why I say rest in peace. I don't know if he's alive. But basically he is, because his brain is gone. And that crushed me. And I didn't know how to move on, but to keep working And I prayed and tried to pray my gay away then, but it was not working. And I got with my boyfriend, my now husband, through going through that. Met him on Scruff, which is kind of like Grinder, but for more scruffy looking men, Harrys and bears. So, I'm with my husband. I missed some details there. Because before, or, yeah, before Trey, I was with a young boy. I was 30, and he was 18. And he was an employee of mine at Qdoba, which I lived right next door to. And I was with him for 4 months. And it really crushed me when he broke up with me. And it actually took me to the crazy home. I got pink slip during Thanksgiving. That was about 2008. And my ex-wife was the one who picked me up. And I actually kicked it with her. That was 2009. I actually kicked it with her for a couple days. We had sex. And I was trying to be Christian at this time. It was right after I left Anthony and I lost 30 pounds in 1 month. I was like, went from like 190 down to like 150. 155. And I would love to be there now. 155. I'm probably like a 180. I don't know what you think, y'all. Let y'all see a little something. A little explicit for y'all. At the start, showing you my body. I work out in a jock strap. Jock strap, y'all. Look at that, y'all. 46. I'm kind of proud. I'm trying to get more toned. Get back down to that 160. Hopefully. So little. Oh, my papa. Ooh. Ooh. Alright, yeah. I'm nasty. Alright, I'll see y'all. That was my coming out story. After that, I just came out, y'all. I just came out. And I was about 28. Right after me and Angie broke up. I basically came out and told everyone and just lived my truth. Now I'm 46 and I wish I did it way earlier and I had the strength to do it way earlier. Anybody who needs to come out, please have the strength to come out earlier because it's okay. You're gay for a reason and you're not going to hell. Jesus loves you too. You need to have a relationship with God, the G-O-D, adopt, and pray, and just live your life. Be strong, reach your goals, and Stop fighting with yourself. And being gay is not just saying, oh, he cute. But being gay is you want the opposite, the same sex. You want them, a deep connection with them. You want to be with them all the time. To have more than a camaraderie, because you can do that with a friend. But a true love. And that's what me and my husband have. I love you, bicho lindo. Mm. I know it's long, y'all. Y'all might not watch it. It's all good. Nano, the Puerto Rican, signing out for today, February 7th, 2024. Ooh, it's a long one, y'all. I've been here for like 40 minutes. Thank you for listening. And we'll be into more details. Still trying to make it. Booty butt naked. And nobody can take it except my husband. Peace, y'all.